rappers, they can't get loans and they go broke and this that. Why do you think that is? If a bank sees you spending $60,000 on a chain and you can't pay that back, you think they're gonna let you? And that's not even an asset. Yes,
It's a liability.
Yes, Dimitri, yes. Yeah, you see what you guys are talking about? Cole, I like what you said, that too, it loses value over time. When you go get a car off the lot, it could be a 2020 brand new, if it would have came out today, guess what? As soon as you drive it off the lot, it loses value. So it's not always hot to have the thing, it's always cool to have the things that are like the latest, like the newest. But it's not always good because you just bought a car for $70,000 when you could have bought the same car from 2 years ago with less gadgets for less money and saved yourself a lot of money. So having a 2020 new car is not always the best thing. And how people be fronting, I'm going to put you on to leasing. A lot of times people pull up in a Range and all these cars, they look like in a Lambo, they look all nice and sweet. But guess what? That car is a 2-year lease, and that car doesn't belong to that person. You know, yeah, it's better to lease because a lot of times when you lease, the company has to pay for everything if it goes messed up and everything. But for me personally, the reason why I would like to own my car is because I want to be responsible and accountable for what happens to the car. It's a learning experience for me. So when the oil goes bad, I don't want to always go to the dealership and have them look at it. I want to be able to fix it for myself. I want to be able to fix these things by myself. That's why I own a car myself. And I also, when I purchased my car, believe it or not, I purchased my first car last year for $12,000 only because, guess what? I know it was a pandemic and it was bad. Hertz was going out of business. They were bankrupt. When somebody's bankrupt, that means that you can't even talk to the bank no more. That's what that means. Don't even go for loans, nothing. You're already exempt from banks. That's what that means. So when I sat up here and Hertz went bankrupt and there was a Chevrolet Malibu car, 2018 with 30,000 miles on it for $12,000. Yes, Cody, look at Codio's face. Yes.
You should have told me. You should have told me about this. Oh my God.
That's the car at Massapequa.
Right there, 10 minutes away from me.
Right there, yeah. $12,000 for a car that has 30,000 miles, and it came out 2 years ago. So that means per year, if you do the math, they only driven that car 15,000 miles per year. If you do times 12, you divide that by 12, you're driving about 1,000 a month. Less. You're driving 1,000 less per month. So you see how, guys, see how I calculate with my mind how Tesla's, anything that you drive off the lot will lose immediate value and interest immediately. This is the line. Once the car does this and it drives, and that's it. It's over. But anyway, like I was saying, guys, your credit report is your bank report card. It lets people know, lets the lender know, hey, let me look at his history. All right, he's been having credit for 5 years. For the first year, he paid off everything. Second year, phenomenal. Oh, I see he took out $10,000 and he paid that back in 6 months before the time. Oh yeah, let that guy borrow. Oh yeah, absolutely. Credit lines, start them off at 700, 750. I like that. And that's how they gauge. They gauge you based upon how you acted with your money before. And think about it, if I was a lender, right, and I see your credit, I'm not even a bank. I see your credit report, and I see you can't even pay $1,000 off in a year. Oh, I'm not gonna. Your credit line will be $500 off rip. I'm just $1,000, and you literally, like, you're spending money on Jordans. I see on your credit, on your bank account, you're spending $300 on Jordans. Oh, stock X. The Travis Scotts, you spent $550. Oh, but you just spent all your money on clothes. You spent $2,000 on clothes, but you can't pay me back my $1,000. Oh, let me just hurt your credit line. So that's what starts to happen through time. You start being selfish. Stop being selfish with your money. That's what I call being selfish with your money. When you go buy stuff you don't need to impress people that don't care about you. Because a lot of times we get flopped with people that don't care about us. Correct me if I'm wrong. Put a 2 in the chat if you think I'm lying. Put a 2 in the chat if you really think, like, you're sometimes they're like, damn, I got flopped for no reason. A lot of
you speak your facts. Speak your facts.
Yeah, I've been there. I sit up there year in high school, I had a pair of Pradas. I had Margellas. I had Michael Mary. Remember, Cody, I used to come in crazy my senior year. Everybody look at me like, and I'm like, oh my God, like I can't even get a return. I just spent $2,200. I can't even get a return on that. And I just spent some of my savings because I had $5,000 in my savings. I took $2,200 to, oh man, that's the worst feeling ever. So we're going to continue the last 2 minutes. We're going to talk about Cody's experience before we get off. So in 99 to 2002, Cody had his first credit card, and the credit limit back then was much smaller. The reason why today is from 0 to 8. Back then was 0 to 1,000. And I'll tell you why it changed after this. So then after that, Cody from 2002 to 2003, right? He co-signed for family to have too much fun. You're young at this point. You're like, yo, I'm just living it up. I'm going to college. I'm chilling. I don't care. Because we're young. We don't have that structure yet. 2004, 2006, starts rebuilding. No more co-signers. He's not, because another thing too, what a co-sign is. I'm going to tell you what a co-sign is. A co-sign is when somebody has a contract, right? And there's the head of the contract and then the co-signer. That means that's the second person that agrees to the first person with the original contract. So if I'm the co-signer to Codio's contract, let's say his architecture class, what happened is I'm signing and I'm telling the bank, hey, I trust him just as much as you trust him. So guess what? If Codio doesn't, let's say Codio owes money and I sign as a co-signer, guess who credit gets hurt as a co-signer? Guess who credit gets hurt as a co-signer? Me and Codio.
Yep, exactly.
Co-signers credit get hurt. Why do you think a lot of times your family members, I'm not co-signing that. No, I'm not doing that. No. Because they already know their family member, you're not even good at paying back your own mother. What makes you think you could sit up there and sign a contract of a house of $150,000? You want me to co-sign on that? Oh, no. Absolutely not. After that, 2007, 2009, Codio side there was like, and then sometimes people think that being cheap is not being cheap. Cheap is recovering. Cheap is being responsible, accountable for your decisions that you made in the past. So that's what he did. For 2 years, sacrificed his life. I remember at that time, this is when I started getting to meet Codio. I'm like, yo, Codio, why? You don't even eat out. Everything from you buying food from the house all the time. Like, you always bringing food. Like, you have like the little square thing with Joe's. Remember, you used to always have the little lunch bag with Joe's. And I'm like, everybody else, I used to look at Codio's face like, damn, everybody else is eating out.
School lunch was the best. I'll talk about it. I'll be talking about it in a minute.
Yeah, like Codio used to look, I used to look at Codio like, damn, Codio is the only one that didn't get food from outside. He just getting food from either lunchroom or getting packed lunch. So go ahead, Cody, you can talk about, your experience.
Definitely. So, as I was stating, like Leo was stating, in terms of the experience, from when I graduated high school, that's when they got me. Applying for colleges, once again, census. They see when you are graduated. They see when to send you, when you turn 18, a certain age, to send you, like, apply for the credit card. I received it, $1,000. At that time, my father said, please, you can spend it, but don't overuse it. I really didn't use it as much because I always liked using cash. I always had the mindset to use cash as opposed to a credit. But then I was told to start using credit line, but make sure you pay it ahead of time. So that I was good with that aspect. But my heart and being too nice, like Leo said at the beginning, lending people money, and they know that you had you had a credit card, or especially family, when they see your mail. So what happened in 2003? And my family saw some of my mail and says, you're able to take out a $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 loan for anything. I'm like, and I didn't, sometimes, when you have certain family members, like, a sister or brother, whatever, and they want to actually purchase something and they want to build up their credit, and they ask you to co-sign for, just say another credit card or a vehicle, which I did twice. And that pretty much, and I was not paying attention at the time because I never followed my credit score. I just knew about it, never followed it until 2004, 2006, I realized there was no payments done on the vehicle. I was getting phone calls after a while that a family member were not paying for it. And I had no choice but to take the loss with my credit score, as well as, and to be able to rebuild it is going to take some time. So it took less than a year of having fun. Sometimes I'm not going to lie, going out, partying, and one of the worst things you could do, I'm letting you guys know this. This is an experience I learned the hard way. When you go out, please, don't ever put your card at the table at a counter and charge it, because everybody else that you came with, they're going to say put it on the card. I went over almost, like Leo stated, my credit limit was $1,000. I had a bill almost $3,000 at the end of the night. And I'm like, wait a minute, what is this? And my credit card allowed it. At that time, the restrictions, they was able to bump it up. I'm like, no, this is ridiculous. I tried to fight it, but I didn't put it was so horrible that I had to pay that plus interest. So that year, 2000, 2003 was a very bad year. Then rebuilding it, no more cosigns. My credit score fell 300 points because it took longer to pay off. Because the interest rates, oh my gosh, the better your credit score, the lower interest you have. But when they say 18, 19, 20, 35% interest, and sometimes you don't read the fine lines, a 35% interest, 25% interest off of $2,000, $3,000. Imagine $5,000.
That's oh my God,
that's almost half the amount. So that's why 2007, 2009, no choice, school lunch, save,
5% interest. That's more than 1/3.
Going over. Then and then it is. And then the other aspect was got rid of my first credit card, my first 2 credit cards. People think that okay, I'm done using my credit card. I'm just going to use cash. That also affects your credit, because it's called credit for a reason. You have to keep it cycling. So you have to continue using it and then pay it off at the right time. So you have to build up that mindset. So my credit score dropped again because 2010, 2012, I did not use it at all. So now I was like, oh my gosh, how did it drop that much? Almost 100 points for what? Because I didn't use it? Ridiculous. The system is set up. But then a family came. 2013 and to present. I pretty much built up my credit score almost to the maximum. I'll show you guys real soon, real quick. My credit score, like right now, I'm not after I start recording, because I'm gonna show you how it transformed from almost like 6 something, 5 cents to 6 something, to where it is at now. And there's 3 different types of credit score. We could talk about that later on in the future. But the home ownership, I was able to. The thing about credit, even though you were able to get a loan for 1.6 million, doesn't mean you're gonna find a house for 1.6 million. It means that your credit score will let you purchase that with the amount of your credit score, and to see, because they had myself and my wife. We'll get into that later on, choosing the right partner and certain aspects when choosing the right partner. When it comes to that, so me and my wife's credit score combined was just phenomenal, 800 plus. So that, being able to have that type of credit score, and then all of a sudden go purchase a house, but we still stay underneath our means and got the type of house that fit our situation, and then go overboard. So once again, this is a learning experience that we're going to forever teach you and guide you with, because these are the things that I myself, Leo, learned the hard way growing up. Because just because you're a good saver, but then, like Leo stated, letting friends borrow money, letting friends borrow money. And you know what? I'm kind of happy. The best thing about when you lend somebody money, don't expect it back. Don't ask for it back. This is a good learning experience. Depends on how much it is. If it's $20, $40, don't ask for it back. Because one reason why do you think I say don't ask for it back? If you lend somebody $20, why do you think don't ask for it from a friend or family?
They're not going to give it back.
Yeah, but what's the best? How does it make you feel like if you lend somebody $40, right, and you don't ask for it?
Keep it. It's at that point, Cody, it's just because you already know in your mind, it's like, you know, when your friend be like, oh, I need a whole $20, in your mind, it's like, I know what that means. You don't really need to borrow the money. You need the money. You're just using the word "I need the money" to sit up here and really get the money from me. So.
Yep. But I like what you guys are saying in the chat. But let me show you a little trick. If you let somebody borrow money, they're gonna know subconsciously. If they're your friend, they're gonna know they owe you $40, $50. 90% of the time, they're not gonna ask you for anything else. Because they already know that they owe you money, so they know they can't come to you. Majority of the time, I can't ask this person because the first thing he goes, so what happened to the $40? You never paid me back. You know, I can't trust you. You know, and it feels good that you lend people and you expect it to get it back. But most of the time, if you're going to lend it, make sure that it's not hindering you from any purchasing something or paying off a debt or something due to the fact that you're going to regret it. So if you do end up lending someone money, just like you take out a loan, sometimes one of the best things my mentor once said to me, only take out a loan if you have the amount in the bank or twice the amount in the bank. Because you don't want to empty out your bank account. But and you can still be able to pay it monthly or pay more of it, like half of it off, but you just don't want to actually completely empty out your bank account because you never know what might happen. And we're going to talk about safety funds later on in the future when it comes to that aspect. Okay?